Twyman wasn't born to be a basketball player, but he became one.
You're looking at a guy that was cut 3 consecutive years from his high school basketball team.
Were you a clumsy kid?
I wasn't Nuryev, I'll tell you that. I had a tough time. You know, I had a tough time. I don't think I ever dunked the ball. I was not a good jumper. I wasn't particularly quick. But I doubt if there were too many players that wanted it as badly as I wanted it and were willing to work and sacrifice as much as I was willing to work and sacrifice. And no, I'm not the most gifted guy you ever saw in your life, but I'll wear you out trying to beat you one way or another.
Jack Twyman wore a lot of people out from the time he arrived at the University of Cincinnati campus until he decided to retire from the pro game after 11 seasons with the Cincinnati Royals.
I had the wonderful timing to play my professional basketball career at the same time Bill Russell played his. So we were perennial number 2s in the Eastern Division, but we had some pretty darn good basketball games out at the Cincinnati Gardens, and I can remember for a period of years where, you know, that was, you were looking at 12, 14, 15,000 people out there, and they got their money's worth. We had some fun out at the Cincinnati Gardens, there's no question about it.
And though Twyman mentions the names of Russell, Cousy, and others with reverence, they must have felt the same way about him. You make it to the Hall of Fame with the support of the players, and Twyman becomes the 3rd former Royal to be inducted in just a few years. Oscar Robertson and Jerry Lucas have been the others. What got Jack Twyman there was his tenacity, his hustle, and more than anything else, his ability to shoot the ball.
Cliff Keen, he's passed away. He wrote for the Boston Globe. He said, when Jack Twyman passes away, they're going to need a 10-foot coffin because his arm will be in the shooting position and they won't be able to get it down. and I think that's pretty characteristic of what I am regarded as in my career. Yeah, I was a shooter, and I thought I did it pretty well. And when the going was tough, I wanted the ball. I thought I could put it in the hole.
Over 11 seasons, Twyman averaged 19 points a game. He averaged 31 a game in 1960 and had one game where he scored 59 points against the Lakers. Tomorrow, Twyman will be remembered for that shooting ability, but he'll also be remembered for his devotion to former Royals teammate Maurice Stokes, a superb basketball player struck at the height of his career by encephalitis. He became paralyzed.
And it wasn't until a week or 2 after he was injured that we realized the severity of it, and a lot of things had to be done, and I was here. Strangely enough, about a month after the season, the club was sold. And the club was sold, I believe it was for $200,000, but it was $225,000 with Maurice. If Maurice were to get better, the purchase price was $225,000, but he was kind of a man without a team, so a lot of things had to be done here in town, and I was the logical one to do it.
Twyman became more than a visitor to the hospital. He made sure that his former teammate was getting the best treatment. He spearheaded drives to raise money to pay the enormous medical expenses, and Jack Twyman became Stokes' legal guardian. It was a relationship that sparked a television movie 5 years ago detailing the fight of Maurice Stokes and the compassion of Jack Twyman.
It was probably the most meaningful experience of my life, and I think about him all the time, and I miss him. He was a unique individual. You learn more about him after his misfortune than you did before his misfortune. I guess under adversity, people reach back and get something more than they even realize themselves that they had, and that certainly was the case with Maurice. It's been said that I gave so much to Maurice. Well, whatever I was able to give to Maurice, I gained twice as much from him, I'll tell you, just by being exposed to him.
Jack Twyman, basketball player, later became Jack Twyman, television commentator. He spent 5 seasons with ABC on the NBA telecasts. Today it's Jack Twyman, business executive. Tomorrow it becomes Jack Twyman, Hall of Famer. He'll share the spotlight with players Dave DeBusschere and Bill Bradley, and with college coach Dean Smith.
Just the thought that I'm going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame means a lot to a young kid from Pittsburgh that, you know, I can remember starting out many years ago, never dreaming that it would lead to something like this.